Greetings, Marilyn. How have things been for you? Could we spare a moment for conversation?
Hello, Luella. It's been quite some time, hasn't it? Indeed, I'm available for a chat now. What topic did you have in mind?
It's been around 3 months since our last exchange, correct?
Yes, that sounds accurate.
I was curious about how things had turned out.
Could you clarify?
I'm referring to your final decision.
I'm sorry, I'm not certain what you're indicating. Could you perhaps elaborate a bit more?
You didn't forget, did you? It's quite a significant matter to forget.
My apologies. Could you please remind me what the topic was?
Regarding my proposal to cohabit with you and Rogers.
Excuse me?
What was your decision?
Our decision was, we felt it might not be the best arrangement.
But I didn't agree with that decision.
Rogers, too, echoed our sentiments after you voiced your disagreement, as I recall.
I'm in disbelief. I have an inquiry for you. Do you have any concerns about being an exemplary spouse?
Excuse me?
If you did, you'd understand that Rogers would never genuinely want to turn down his mother's request to live with him.
Perhaps, but we did have a frank discussion about it. It was a challenging decision to make, but we agreed that separate residences would be best.
He's merely trying to appease you because he's such a good-hearted man.
Well,
The mantra is happy wife, happy life, correct? So, consider his desires more. Avoid being self-centered. I'll be discussing moving in with him in the upcoming days.
please, let's not be hasty with such decisions.
The decision is already made. As your mother-in-law, you need to respect my wishes.
We've already discussed this in our previous conversation. We currently have my grandfather living with us.
I'm aware of that. Your parents were transferred for work and no longer reside in that house. So, the responsibility of caring for your grandfather, who would have been alone, fell to you. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But he doesn't actually share your living space, does he?
Technically, he has his own quarters on our property, but he shares all meals with us. You could consider it communal living. However, I'm not sure we could accommodate another person.
So, essentially, despite being family, you don't want another occupant while your grandfather is there, right? But I have no issues sharing a home with him. As you know, I'm separated from my husband, so your grandfather and I might get along splendidly. We'd be the best of friends.
That's not my concern at all.
Ugh, you're really trying my patience. Regardless of your feelings or statements, my move is a certainty.
Now, wait a minute.
I have no interest in hearing your objections.
Yes, but
I've had enough of this discussion. I'll be blocking your number. Going forward, I'll communicate directly with Rogers regarding the specifics of my move.
Luella.
Farewell.
My apologies for the interruption at your work. Is now a good time to talk?
Hello, darling. As a matter of fact, I'm currently on my lunch break. What seems to be the matter?
Your mother and I had a conversation.
And what did she express?
her desire to move in with us persists.
Seriously? Even after we informed her about your grandpa staying with us?
Indeed. But that doesn't seem to faze her. She remains adamant about her decision to move in. I tried to clarify our situation to her, but she ended up blocking my number.
Why does she have to be like this?
Perhaps my approach was wrong or too straightforward.
No, the problem lies with her, not with you. She's known to be impatient and intransigent. It's a lethal combination, to say the least. Perhaps obstinate captures it better. She is a product of her time. She struggles to understand the perspectives of our generation. She perceives this as the 60s, where parents were unchallenged authorities in the family and their words were law.
That might be a possibility. Anyhow, she intends to contact you about her moving plans. I reckon she'll be reaching out to you shortly.
I appreciate the advance warning.
I'm really sorry for burdening you with this. It wasn't my intention to put you in the position of mediating with her.
Please don't fret over it. If anyone should apologize, it's me for my mother's behavior. I'm sorry that you're caught in this situation.
It's fine.
Nevertheless, I need to return to work soon.
Tonight, I'll prepare a hearty steak dinner as a treat.
Fantastic. I'm eagerly looking forward to it.
Do well at work.
Thank you. Mom, what's all the cargo at our place?
Did my parcels arrive, Rogers?
Yes, they did. And all 10 of them. I even got the invoice from the freight company.
I appreciate you handling that for me.
I wasn't about to send them back. I'd feel guilty if the mover had to repack everything back onto the vehicle. Couldn't you have informed me about the incoming deliveries? I ended up having to pay the charges. It was over $100 for the whole lot. Luckily, I had some spare cash on me. I usually don't.
Oops, my bad. It's good though that you managed to receive everything.
It's not exactly a good thing. Our home now resembles an Amazon distribution center. Boxes are cluttering the entryway and corridors. What is all this, anyway?
Naturally, it's my belongings for my move.
Excuse me? Moving in?
Yes, I am. I plan on staying there permanently. I'm moving out of my place tonight, then heading to your home.
Wait a minute! Marilyn and I didn't sign off on this. You should have at least warned me about this plan. Not just ship all your stuff to our place without a heads up.
Why would I need to? I assumed we could discuss details, like my room assignment, once everything arrived. I appreciate you informing me about the delivery.
Well, you're welcome. But your planning seems a little disorganized.
What do you mean? You don't have any objection to me staying there, do you?
I've already made this clear. Marilyn and I are on the same page. We don't think it's a good idea for you to move in. We've already told you that this arrangement won't work.
Rogers, you don't have to play games.
What game?
Acting like you're not okay with this. You can be truthful with your mom.
What on earth are you suggesting?
Just admit it. You do want me to move in, don't you?
I really don't know where you're getting that idea. You're kind of making me uncomfortable.
I'm simply telling you that you don't always have to agree with Marilyn.
That's not the case.
I understand that you might find it difficult to voice your desires, especially with Marilyn's grandpa also living there. But you must understand, a husband's say is significant. As the man of the house, you shouldn't suppress your genuine feelings about household matters.
I don't think you're understanding.
In fact, I bet you'd like to express your thoughts about having her grandfather live with you. It's SHE who should consider the impact of an extra person living in your home.
Enough with that.
What?
I have to clarify something. You believe that I own this house, don't you?
Naturally, I believe that. And it's incredible. It's amazing that you've built such a grand, splendid home within the first year of marriage. I'm so proud of you.
As I suspected. You've got it all mixed up.
What?
This is Marilyn's house, not mine. This is the place she grew up in.
But how? The house looks recently constructed.
Yeah, I understand. Her family renovated it shortly before we tied the knot.
They did?
Yes. Her parents and grandfather funded it.
Oh,
This place, it's referred to as Marilyn's house. But in reality, it's actually her grandfather's. The title is under his name.
really?
Indeed. I've mentioned this to you before. In fact, Marilyn herself has told you this as well.
I can't seem to recall that.
I can recall at least 3 or 4 instances where we discussed this with you. I vividly remember you commenting, "This house is so spacious. Amazing!" You were in awe because you assumed I was the owner. I specifically clarified that it's her grandfather's property, not mine. To put it simply, her grandfather graciously allows us to reside here with him for the time being.
I don't get it. If the house is his, why does he reside elsewhere? He doesn't actually live there, correct?
Well, when the house was being renovated, he expressed he no longer needed such a large space. The estate it stands on is massive, so he had a sort of cabin constructed. His desire was for a dedicated space to practice his woodcrafting. But we affectionately refer to it as Grandpa's workshop. He's still technically a resident here since he sleeps here and joins us for all meals.
It's hard to believe that it's not your house.
However, that's the reality. I'm going to have all these packages you sent returned.
Why? What about my plans to move in?
I've made it clear from the start that wasn't a possibility. Mom, this might not be the ideal time to bring this up again. But you're aware I legally changed my last name when I married Marilyn, correct?
You did?
I knew you'd have forgotten. I should have anticipated your forgetfulness. I noticed you kept using my old last name on the labels of the items you sent me, including all these packages. I found it peculiar you'd persistently use my former name.
So does that mean you're no longer legally my son?
Can't you recall what drove me to make that choice?
I did something?
This was after your divorce with Dad. We were all concerned about your ability to sustain yourself. Melissa offered you a place with her and her husband for some time. That was until you started treating her husband with disdain for not being a good enough man for my sister.
I never did such a thing.
Are you denying it? Then why did Melissa have an outburst and ask you to leave?
It's not like what you think.
I was there, I witnessed everything. And upon doing so, I resolved never to let Marilyn experience something similar. I made that vow on our wedding day. In essence, I changed my name and moved in with Marilyn's family to keep her safe from you. That's the gist of it. Even though I've already explained this numerous times.
That can't be right.
It is, and frankly, I'm astounded I've had to repeat this so often. You never heed anyone's words. That's the primary reason Dad wanted a divorce.
So, what does this mean for me now?
That, you'll have to figure out by yourself.
Isn't it a disgrace that the family name will cease with you? Now that you've altered your last name, there isn't anyone to uphold your father's surname.
That's incorrect. It's not ending.
How so?
Dad's new wife just delivered twin boys.
What? He remarried? I wasn't aware. And he has twins?
Yes. He met her after the divorce. She gave birth to the twins just recently.
You can't be serious. I was completely unaware.
He instructed me to inform you.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's the current situation. He's settled his life, so don't attempt to rekindle anything or commit any rash acts.
Oh. I wasn't intending to.
For now, I'll send all this stuff back to you.
Please don't.
Why not? As I've reiterated, you're not moving in here.
Actually, I just terminated my apartment lease. I need to vacate by month end.
Really?
Yes, please let me stay there. I'll be homeless otherwise.
Hold on a moment. Uncle Pat should be arriving at your place shortly.
Why is he coming here?
He's agreed to host you for the time being. I anticipated you'd act impulsively like terminating your lease. So I got in touch with him to discuss your situation.
No, 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 no. My brother and I have never been on good terms.
Well, it's high time you learn to. He's your only option for a place to live now. Goodbye, Mom.
Rogers. Wait.
It wasn't long before my uncle arrived at my mother's residence. I had already moved all her belongings to his place. She was now responsible for her own bills. I suspect this entire mess originated from somewhere related to that. Her persona seems to be a barrier in maintaining stable employment. She's in a financial crunch at the moment. From what I can gather, it appears she and my uncle have managed to establish a peaceful coexistence, at least for the time being. He made it clear to her, I'm offering you shelter. If you want food, you need to work enough to support your needs. She landed a new job, but her superior is extremely stern. She often sends me emotional texts, finding the job overwhelmingly difficult. But that was the last I heard from her. My uncle confiscated her phone and has confined her to the house to impart some much-needed values to her. He conveyed to her the news of Marilyn's pregnancy. But until she demonstrates a better way to treat others, it will be quite some time before she gets to meet her grandchild.